So if we look at this, right, and we look at the life cycle of creating value with technology, and we basically say we have a discovery phase, we have a implementation governance phase, and then we basically realize the benefit of that effort, right? So this is how we structure it, and your platform 𝐓𝐞𝐜𝐡 is designed to support the full life cycle, and you basically have developed that platform to fix that problem that we are describing here, which is no one has the discipline and no one is tracking properly from the beginning to the end. So the question I have before we go into the details of your platform, but where do you see company mostly failing? Is it from the beginning, from the discovery, the prioritization, the business casing? Is it during the implementation, they go all over the place, or closing? Where do they fail most of the time?
I would say the beginning and end. The middle is fine. The technology is fine. The delivery is fine. The majority of AI teams are fantastic at delivery. They're very good at doing what they say they're going to do. It's just a lot of the times I see poor, in the case of AI, poor use cases, and we see this from our data at 𝐓𝐞𝐜𝐡, poor use cases slipping in because some stakeholder somewhere has forced it via some kind of internal politics or whichever. And then it ends up going live, and then the value just isn't there. And they're the same ones shouting, why aren't we getting the benefit I expected, and so on. And it's because it was embedded properly. So just the prioritization, the initial stage, if you can fix that piece, you're in a good place. And then again, like you said, 95% of company, or like IBM found, 95% of companies aren't actually tracking the ROI. So when you get the first bit done, then the next part is literally just how are we tracking this going forward? And that's an easier one to solve. I mean, it's an easy one to get started with. It's a complex one when you start looking into all the various use cases of AI. Yeah. So beginning and end, prioritization and value realization. Tracking those two, what I see.
And I would say one extra concept here, which is because AI is almost an operation, I'm not even sure there's a beginning and an end. Altogether, when you adopt AI, it's almost like an ongoing process that you got to track that forever. Let's take a practical. So let's take a practical case, right? So let's take a place where I'm sure people will want to know how wonderful the platform is and what it does and all the features and the UI, everything. But practically, when that platform gets deployed at a client, let's take AVEVA, right? So we have this this AVEVA case, right? So can you talk about that? What happened there? What did you do? I see, lots of money being identified as, being saved or properly tracked. So this is a good news story. So talk about that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, this kind of also talks about how the platform works, right? So the way 𝐓𝐞𝐜𝐡 works is it supports you on the intake, so it helps prioritize the use cases for a new technology rollout. Helps you build the business case for finance to get the budget and go ahead, and then it connects to all of your solutions to help you track regularly after go live the value that these are bringing, and helps you see which ones are working and what's not working, right? So with the AVEVA use case, fantastic team, they were claims innovation, they had their entire AI and automation pipeline was living in a mixture of Miro boards with post-it notes and spreadsheets, right? And so the manager was looking at me saying, Alex, I can't do anything with this information. There's no, this is going to take me ages, months to try to pinpoint find all the people, get all the data in, and so on and so forth, and try to work out which we should go for, because they didn't have an engine to do this before. Now, you could try to. I've seen some companies try a mix of different things with like SharePoint forms and so on and so forth. But with the AVEVA use case, within a day or two, all of their ideas were now fully fledged within 𝐓𝐶. The initial business cases were fleshed out to the point where they had, out of 150 I think they discovered like 112 opportunities, where they also had their employees log into the platform and start doing some extra discovery work for them. You know, what pain points they were having, all of that was collated by our platform. We have an AI intake which kind of cleans up all of those projects into a nice project charter. So it's easy for the business analysts to understand what the outcomes were from these notes from workshops and meetings and so on. And all of that was in a nice portfolio for them to review. In about 2 weeks' time, after a number of different one-on-ones with the teams and the different business units and such, I think they were able to build a good 60 to 70 business cases for AI, which amounted to about £12 million in pipeline for them to work on for the rest of the year. And that was all done within 3 weeks. And it was 90 times cheaper than them using a single contract BA, for example, from a consultancy that they were using. So a massive use case. And that's really just because, one, they qualified all the use cases, two, built a business case for each one, and then now they're tracking the actual value that those are bringing now that they've been deployed. So yeah.
And the tool brings the framework and the discipline to keep the tracking, right? So but personal experience, what you are describing here. A long time ago in previous life, when I used to work for a very large company, and I was the boss of automation, I had exactly that problem. I had thousands of ID to prioritize and manage in the pipeline. I had hundreds of projects running around the world, and it was a nightmare to do the prioritization, to do the business case, and to do the tracking of the project, because some of them, frankly, we had to kill because they were not delivering. Some of them we wanted to accelerate. So we had to build our own stuff. What you are describing here, if it would have been available like 5-6 years ago, I would have been the first customer like straight away, because it was a nightmare for us to create that. And if I can get an off-the-shelf platform that will help me track this, and I can put everyone on it, and it forces a framework, a governance, a discipline, so I know exactly what to kill, what to keep, what to boost, what to slow down, so that ultimately when I have a conversation, if I am a technology leader, when I have a conversation with a CFO, I can look smart because I can really show what's happening. And if I can push it and connect the dot all the way to the P&L, then I'm the king because I'm doing my job, right?
You look amazing, right? Your team looks amazing.
Yeah, I'm not only deploying technology and making a difference at the technology level, I'm also making a difference at the P&L level.